and the most important thing, which is the news feed, is saying, can I keep a record of the changes of those things? Who's joined which group? Who's left which group? What relationships have changed? Because a relationship may be, he lived in London, or she was married, or he worked for such and such. It doesn't matter. It's just a relationship. So the records of those relationships get exposed. So those are the three sort of background statements to introduce this and then have the open debate. One background statement, how information has flowed to a point where we are all empowered to write back rather than just to receive. Second, how information has changed from an analog world to a digital world, from atoms to bits. The third, how all this is to be seen in the context of social networks. And now finally, what has been very important to me throughout the ages and why I even joined BT is because I believe fervently that the availability of affordable, ubiquitous communication can make a huge difference to people's lives. Okay? Again, I was talking with Sue earlier about how, and Vijay, that it's a time in life when people who have a second life aren't those who, the joke about second life people was, go and get yourself a first life. Well, actually, that isn't true, because there's a lot of evidence that suggests that people who have digital skills in a social network type environment actually spend more time in face-to-face communication than those who don't, because the digital skills are used to augment and enhance the physical interactions rather than as a substitute. So the cartoons of people in four corners of a room using computers to talk to each other but not actually coming to the middle of the room are great for the people who know jack about this. But all the information, the research, the evidence suggests that people who can form decent digital skills, they use Facebook to actually make more appointments to see their people. When they meet, the grooming, and I don't mean this in a pedophile sense, but the things that you take for granted in a relationship, birthdays and rites of passage and, how's your dog, has it recovered and all that, the cost of acquiring that information, knowing it, is much cheaper when you do it digitally. Then when you meet, you can talk about other things that matter rather than catch up with the how are you. And I mean a how are you where it's okay to answer the question, rather than this pretend question that nobody wants answered. Okay? So, what have I done? Okay. One of the most important things about information, if I believe that it's something that can really enhance our lives in health and education and welfare, is the free flow of information. Okay? That there is nothing in the way to prevent information from getting to the people that it needs to get. Now, this may sound trivial, this may sound highfalutin principles, but look at what happened over here, even in the time that I'd come and I was sitting at the back. Right? Complexities of getting hooked onto a wireless network. Challenges with saying, well, I uploaded this file in Google Docs over there, or Google Groups, and I'm not sure where it went. Right? We thought there were 100, but only 91 turned up. Right? I think I'm smart, I don't think I'm stupid, but for some reason I couldn't get on. Right? These are all issues that emanate because we don't think about the free flow of information enough. We don't really appreciate the cultural challenges. Now again, I was telling Sue, when I left India, I'd never seen a credit card, and in India if you're rich enough to have a car, you're rich enough to have a driver, so I'd never driven. In fact, I still never driven. But that meant that automatically I was very scared of going to America, because the America that I knew in literature was an America that identified itself by having the car, the credit card, and actually the gun. And I wasn't particularly keen on any of those three. But when I came to this country, I was really scared of going to a supermarket because I was used to buying toothpaste by going to a corner shop in Calcutta and saying, I want toothpaste. When I come here and I've got an aisle full. Okay? I don't know what to do. The first time I walked in there, I was so embarrassed. I didn't know the answers. I picked up something that looked all right, paid for it, ran, got home and found myself with some denture powder. But it was that level of embarrassment. So until you experience the fact that you might be normal, but because you don't have the context and you don't have the learning and no one's made it easy for you, then you can actually be threatened by the new technologies. Then we're not going to be able to build the systems, we can't build the processes. I mean, this is what I spend my life doing at BT, saying, how can I make something more accessible to people? Because it's not the people who are stupid, but the way we've designed it. My wife is 47, okay? She hasn't particularly liked the computer, but she's being forced on because things she does are now, people email her parent sort of information to do with the school. So she can't get that information. A lot of the things she wants to buy are available online only. But when I speak to her, I see that she says things that are a different perspective from the people who design stuff. Like when she goes grocery shopping, she says, why can't people have designed it that the first thing you do in a grocery shop is to set your time of delivery? Because that's the first thing that matters to me. I've got to be home, right? Not picking up the kids and not anything else when the food arrives. So I don't want to go shopping first. I want to fix that it's going to come on Tuesday morning between 10 and 11 because that's when I can be sure of being home. I can, if I can't get potatoes, that's a secondary problem. But if I can't get Tuesday 10 to 11, that is a big problem. But the people who design it have designed a sequence where the last thing you do is select your delivery time. So she just goes upside down, goes in, has no trolley at all, and goes straight to saying, let me select when I'm getting it, even though she hasn't bought anything yet. And I have to learn from watching people like her. So one of the things about free flow is saying, what are the things that come in the way? And I remember someone telling me, I don't understand all this Second Life stuff, JP. Well, how can you think a virtual world is going to help people in real life? And the most telling article I read was when they said, the physics is different. And it really made me think. Okay, in a virtual world, there is no heat, there is no light, there is no gravity. There is no reason to have doors and windows for a house. You can fly. Who's stopping you from flying in a virtual world? And the only reason why people walk in the virtual world is for people who are fully able-bodied, because otherwise they look like complete nerds walking around because they don't know how to clothe themselves, they don't know how to walk and bang into things, etc., because it's not easy to do. But if you give someone who's a paraplegic, who's never had the ability to physically walk, the chance to walk virtually, you see how quickly they take to it. So it's saying now you are freeing somebody up to do things they could not do in a physical world, in a virtual world. And that's very valuable for us to understand. So when we deal with information, recognize that you may be giving someone who is otherwise disenfranchised. Okay? The idea of the audio book was to say, well, if someone's got bad eyesight or whatever, or finds it easier to listen rather than read, give that person a chance. The ability to change the font of the page you're reading at will, change the light that's on it at will because your eyes are getting weak. The ability to switch language because it's easy to do so. Right? These are the things. The web isn't about just entertainment and Hollywood and music downloads and whatever else. It's a rich learning environment where people who have disabilities of different forms, who have constraints, who have sort of some form of disenfranchisement. Sometimes it can be economic, sometimes it can be physical, sometimes it can be social, sometimes it can be intellectual. It doesn't matter. Right? We owe it to ourselves and to the society we operate in and to the children we